Hello everyone, my name is Yamamoto and today I am playing World of Warships. I'm playing the tier 10 French destroyer Marceau, which is a coal ship, unlike the other tier 10 French destroyer, the Klebèr, which is the regular Tech 3 ship. In many aspects though, the Marceau is very similar to the Klebèr. But it's also got some vital differences. It's a Klebèr hull, so one thing that it does share is that it's insanely fast. And with insanely fast, I really mean insanely fast. And on top of that, we have an engine boost that ranges for 4.5 minutes if you use an engine boost modification, which I can highly recommend, by the way. Now the Marceau has very potent guns, but the guns are of a lighter caliber than on the Klebèr. They are 4x2 127mm guns, much like found on the American destroyers, and that's quite a bit lighter than on the than on the French regular destroyers. Now, these guns are really potent, but I'd still rather not run into an Harugumo while I am being attacked by a carrier. That's really an awful plan. God, and I'm being radared. This is an awful start to a battle, and this is basically the worst that can ever happen to any French destroyer. And now I'm just regular spotted, air spotted, oh man. And we really struggled to even survive this. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm still alive, but I lost 10k HP there, and I haven't done any damage myself yet. Awful start to the battle, but we do manage to get out alive. Enemy Harugumo has retreated from the cap, and it looks like we're gonna have to be somewhat cautious now. Much like the Klebèr, the stock range on the Marceau is actually pretty poor on the guns, but you can increase this with advanced firing training, with the gunfire control system modification if you'd want that. I do not recommend taking both, although I did initially try. You can get the range up to 16 km if you try that, but that's really more than you'll ever need. Instead, the somewhat 14 km that I currently have will do the trick. And for some reason I struggled to hit the enemy Montana. One thing that the Marceau clearly does have going for it over the Klebèr is that it is both stealthier and has 1 km extra torpedo range, which makes stealth torping quite a bit easier. I'm not going to say that it's a good torp boat, especially since the torpedoes are both slower, they reload slower, and they also deal less damage. But the torpedoes are fairly useful. In a situation like this though, it's kind of hard to get even closer to the Montana, and now my torpedoes will probably go out of range. But now we can just deal some damage at range. Setting a fire, unfortunately the Montana put that out. You can see that at this range we do still land our shells, but if we were to increase that range even further, we'd really struggle to land any shells at all. Now those torpedoes would actually have hit if the Montana had been on the same path as the torpedoes, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. Meanwhile, our Montana is really taking a beating. I'm still being targeted by our Montana or by the Yamato, I can't be quite sure. I think it's the Montana, to be honest. Well, now I think it's both, and that makes things easier. And at this point I would kind of like to get in a gunfight with the Harugumo, simply because he's on such a low health. But our Yamato managed to snipe him off, or at least one of the two, from quite some distance, and that's really respectable. Only needed one hit, I think, but still a good shot there. And while we had a pretty poor start to the battle, we've already managed to rack up some damage now, and if we take some good gunnery here, we might be able to finish off this Yamato. Yeah, the Yamato is gone. And well, we haven't actually lost too much HP ever since the start of the battle, so that's quite good. I thought for a second that I should go for the Shimakaze on C, but Zhao takes care of that, so that's nice. Yeah, so now I have to reposition, but since this ship is insanely fast, that's really a walk in the park. Unfortunately, my engine boost is currently on cooldown after having been up for most of the battle so far, but we can turn it on now again. Enemy Moskva shows up. I had kind of expected him, but I'm still not happy to find him due to his radar. Remember guys, if you can get your hands on the Moskva, do so before the upcoming updates, because the Moskva is bound to be removed. I think in 0.9.4 it will be replaced, and it will become a goal ship. Now, I made a bit of a dumb mistake here, hiding behind the island, and now the Moskva can radar me and I can't see him, but his radar is already depleted, so not too big of an issue. We have lost quite a bit of health to the Moskva, so we really have to start being careful now. Enemy aircraft incoming. Now luckily this thing does have some anti-air, so we might be able to take a chunk out of that squad. I'm not quite sure what this Moskva is planning on doing. I don't have my torpedoes on this side ready. I'm feeling he is wanting to do a drive-by. I'll let him do that, but he's gonna catch torpedoes if he wants to do that. I think I can say that I'm shielding our Montana quite a bit there, or Yamato it is, sorry. Ooh, that feels good. And the Yamato gives a thank you for that. Well, actions like this, that feels good. I mean, this is not the Marceau, of course, this is just taking a guess, taking a risk. And this is just what's fun about playing destroyers, in my opinion. But the great speed on the Marceau is definitely something that helps there. Now, while we had a pretty rough start to the battle, the speed, the range on the guns, which is of course increased by advanced firing training, but also the overall very flexible playstyle of the Marceau definitely helped us in really getting back into the battle and actually dealing some significant damage. Managed to get up to 100k now, so really nothing to complain about there. Dealing a lot of anti-air damage, and I think we might be able to rack up some damage against this Hakuyu as well. although I will struggle to do direct damage. Now ideally I would get into torpedo range for this Hakuyu, because that's of course when I would really be able to deal some serious damage. Let's check, the left side torpedoes are reloaded, right side aren't, since we use those on the Moskva, but they will soon be. Ooh, the Hakuyu is already getting shot at quite badly, so I don't think we'll be able to get to him. Using our defensive fire to get rid of the rockets. And this is really something, the anti-air on the Marceau is absolutely no joke, and that on the Klebèr is probably worse than on the Shimakaze, which is legendarily poor. But the Marceau's anti-air is absolutely phenomenal. So that's pretty great. Did I just only throw one set of torpedoes? I think so. And I don't think I'm gonna get out of this alive, but I do pick up the anti-air defense medal. Yeah, and I think I end up with a pretty respectable score here. So, yeah, in my opinion, this is a very flexible ship. I'm not going to say it's the best ship ever. It's definitely got its weaknesses. You could see that at the start of the battle, I get caught off guard, can't manage to pull back in time due to an island, and you immediately lose a lot of hit points. And that's something that the Marceau really doesn't handle too well. But then the flexibility of the Marceau definitely helps you get back into the battle, and we get some torpedo hits. This drive-by on the Moskva was absolutely phenomenal, and of course it's not a whole lot of damage. We clearly didn't do most of our damage on torpedo bases, but it definitely did help, and we absolutely obliterated the Moskva. And if you're really lucky and you can get some more torpedo hits off, maybe even try some stealth torping when you're very lucky on an aircraft carrier or a battleship group, then the ship can definitely work. So it's a very flexible destroyer. It's not the stealthiest, it's definitely the fastest. It has good AA, pretty good guns. It's got a nice torpedo loadout. It's not the best, but it's really nice in my opinion. And combined with this phenomenal speed and the engine boost, I think the Marceau is a very good ship. Is it worth the 236,000 coal? Well, for me it definitely was. I have nearly all of the coal ships, so for me it's quite easy. Would I pick it over something like the Smolensk? Definitely not. Now that's not in the armory anymore, so right now the choices are a bit different. Would I pick it over the current choices like the Thunderer or the Georgia? Well, I have neither of those, so clearly I picked it over those. In my opinion, this ship has a very fun playstyle, and it's a pretty good ship. So, one thing that I can definitely recommend though is to pick up the engine boost modification in slot 2. And that's a special upgrade, so that would cost coal if you don't have one. Now that's a 16,000, around 16,000 additional investment, which then would put it at roughly the same level as the Thunderer. But you can actually play it without that, then it would still be a very good ship. In my opinion, that's just the preferred upgrade for the second slot. So, concluding, a very fun ship. I think it's got a phenomenal playstyle, and let me know what you guys think. See you all around.